The AmaMpondo royal house has described the death of King Zwelithini as a great loss to South Africa. It says he was a pillar of strength and of support to them. Prince Mlimandlela Ndamase from the AmaMpondo royal house joins me now for this conversation. Prince Ndamase, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Well, Isizwe AmaMpondo and the royal Zulu family are united in this grief. Can you just share with us the ties that bind the AmaMpondo as well as the AmaZulu royal households?
Well, thank you very much, Faith. In 1941, Princess Jessica Zulu, a daughter of King Solomon Gadini Zulu, was married to King Chuta Nyangilizwe Ndamase, who was the king of AmaMpondo at the time, and a prince of AmaMpondo. And since that time, in the 1940s and coming forward to these current times, the relations between AmaMpondo and AmaZulu have been very close. And His Majesty King Goodwill Zwelithini has been a great pillar of strength and support to the nation of AmaMpondo in times of tragedy, in times of glory, in times of strain, in times of difficulty. King Zwelithini has really been a great pillar of wisdom and strength and support to Isizwe AmaMpondo, and his passing, as we have described it, is an unfathomable tragedy because it really robs us of a well of wisdom, a disciplinarian and a person who over time has taken interest not only in the welfare of our current king, King Ndamase, but in the welfare of Isizwe AmaMpondo, and also in educating the current generations of the relations that exist between AmaMpondo and the Zulu nation. So his passing is not only a blow to the Zulu nation, it is a very deep wound to the AmaMpondo nation as well as to the South African society at large. And we have extended our condolences. We have had the opportunity to interact directly with members of the royal family in KwaZulu, and we are preparing to be able to join them in mourning this very great soul and great leader of the Zulu people and leader of the people of South Africa.
Well, it's also been described as a man of great faith, and many would say that when it comes to him being a family man, you also, at the household of the AmaMpondo, had an opportunity to expound further and really look and witness this man of faith, who's also a father, who's also, as you say, a disciplinarian, actually be a part of their lives. Tell us about that man.
Well, as you would know, in times of old, it was very common that young princes and young princesses would be taken and placed within various royal families, especially where the matriarchies of the families came from, because it was always believed that those who should be heirs or those who should be taking over the reins of any kingship or kingdom must be placed in a place of safety. They must be allowed to be brought up in an area that is free of any interference in the concerns that people of those particular years have. So particularly His Majesty King Zwelithini, he grew up with our uncle, which was Inkosi Magaziwe Ndamase, who was to become king of AmaMpondo. He grew up with Queen Feziwe Ndamase, who was an elder sister to him, and he also grew up very closely with my father personally, Inkosi Phondolendlovu Ndamase, who also was a person of great relations and a cousin to the king. Until today, until recently, he always referred to us as Abantwana bakamzala, which meant we are the kids of his cousins. And whenever he came across any issue that he believed was of concern to him, or an issue that he believed he would have to take interest, be it in our education, be it in our marital affairs, the king always took interest as a parent to ensure that the Ndamase royal family remains intact, and that as a family and as a nation, we are leading and the people of AmaMpondo properly, and that we are getting the correct wisdom and guidance in order to ensure that our people develop and that we're able to lead a cohesive society.
Well, as you would say, he would often refer to you as Abantwana bakamzala. We also understand that you had a privilege of being able to witness his musical ear. Did he play a piano or did he play the organ? What was that musical ear that he had and that talent that he was quite comfortable in displaying to the family?
Well, as I have said, Faith, His Majesty was a man of great faith, and amongst one of the things he really enjoyed was to play the organ. Very often, to those who have visited the royal palace, they would confess and affirm that His Majesty would often lead in playing the organ in support of whatever hymns may be sang at any particular occasion, in leading those who may be in his presence and singing, and really praising the Lord. As I've said, he's a man of great faith. His Majesty was a disciplinarian, but he also had a very charming side to him, and a side that many have come to appreciate, because after all, he was human, despite the very high role that he was born into, that he had to take up at a very young age. But yeah, you are quite correct. His Majesty played the organ very well, and I am happy that some of his sons and some of his family have followed behind him to actually go into playing musical instruments and really to take from what the father provided, which is His Majesty King Goodwill.
Prince Damase, what would you say would be the greatest legacy of King Goodwill Zwelithini?
His Majesty was a developmental king. He was a man of great courage. He was a man of great wisdom. He has played his own part in shaping the South Africa that we today see and live in. He's a man who really put his shoulder to the wheel in ensuring that we promote social cohesion, in ensuring that we promote our customs and culture, and in ensuring that we celebrate our heritage and continue to instill, especially amongst young people, the importance of education, the importance of looking after ourselves, and many have affirmed and also reflected on the role that he played in the fight against HIV and AIDS. And in many instances, His Majesty led programs wherein he really promoted, be it economic, social, and also at times, and particularly at great difficult times in the Kingdom of KwaZulu and even within Gauteng, he was a great peace broker, together with King Damase in the early 90s, of the very brutal and very deadly battles that ensued between Amampondo and AmaZulu in the mines, as well as the political consequences and relations that accrue from that, which was the contestations between Inkatha and the ANC.
We have to leave it there, Prince Mlimandlela Damase of the AmaMpondo royal family.